Hey friends, welcome to Spring Boot tutorial. In this video we are going to see what is Spring Boot Actuator. Till now we have seen what is Spring Framework, what is Spring Boot and what is the Spring Boot architecture. With an example we have understood it. Then we have seen the annotation that most widely used while creating the Spring Boot application, and then we have seen what is the MVC, and we have created one application in which we have performed the CRUD operation using the REST APIs. Then we have seen what is the Spring security, and then we have seen what is these filters. And today in this video we are going to see what is the Spring Actuator and how we can add the actuator into our Spring Boot application, and how we can create our own custom endpoints using this Spring Boot Actuator. So let's start for the video without wasting time, and if you still not subscribed to my channel, then please go ahead and subscribe so that you will not going to miss my upcoming videos for this series. So what is an actuator? So actuators are concerns which are created by Spring Boot, where you can monitor the Spring Boot application for any production related support or stuff. For example, in general, what we do in production, we monitor the process, we go and check the health, we go and check whether the process is up and running, we check whether the connections are up and running, whether the database connection are successfully inside the process, those kind of metrics, guys. For example, the heap size of the space available into the particular JVM. So all these are taken care by concept called actuators. So Spring Boot, internally it is a REST endpoint, internally it is a web application, right? So Spring, what they did is they thought of creating library which can expose some REST endpoints so that different monitoring process can just use those endpoints and get the data out of the REST endpoints. So that is why the actuators were created. So let's see how we can create those actuators and what this actuator provides for us. So I'm going to open the official website of this Spring Boot actuator. Here you can see doc.spring.io. So I'm going to open this and let's see what they have mentioned inside. Spring Boot includes a number of additional features to help you monitor and manage your application when you push it to production. So basically an actuator is nothing but it is a tool which will help you to keep an eye on your application. So what is happening internally, that actuator can give the information of that. So it basically provides us the HTTP endpoints or the JMX. Here we are going to see the HTTP endpoints, for example the health metrics. So it basically gather all the internal health of your application and gives that information to you. So to achieve this actuator into our Spring Boot application, they provide the dependencies for us. So there are two ways, like using the Maven or using the Gradle. If you know the Android or the Android technology, Android Studio, then basically in that technology we use this dependency. And in the Spring Boot today we are going to use this dependency. We are going to add this dependency into our pom.xml file. So let's add this into the Spring Boot application. In the pom.xml file you will get these dependencies. Inside that, in the previous video we have added the JPA web, DevTools, Derby and the security. So in this I'm going to add that, and to format that we have to use Ctrl+Shift+F. So the Spring Boot actuator dependency is added successfully. So now what it is going to do is, once I save, it will going to download all the required files for this actuator. You can download that manually as well, but it is the most recommended way so that you don't have to take that much efforts for you. So we don't have to do anything else. By default the Spring Boot actuator are security based, so they have some security restrictions in order to access those REST endpoints. So you can disable that using the management.security.enabled as false. So it will going to disable the security for the actuator endpoints, because this actuator endpoints going to expose the information like metrics information so that everyone can see. So that is why it is enabled or secured by default. So we have disabled that right now, right? So once we added that particular rest point, we don't have to do anything else. We just have to save this and we have to run this Spring Boot application. It will by default have its own endpoints. Of course we can add some custom endpoints and we can add some information, but here let's see what this actuator provides us, then later on we can decide on what kind of override do we need. So let's see what all these endpoints do. It started running successfully on the port 9090, which we have mentioned through this properties file. So I'm going to call that localhost 9090 slash, it provides some endpoints inside the actuator. So actuator slash, suppose the first endpoint will be info. So on click of send, then here I'm getting this 404 not found, so I'm not able to access that. So let's come to the document. In that they have mentioned something. These are the endpoints which it providing for us, like beans, caches, environment info. We are using this right now, which basically displays the information about the application. So if you scroll down this, you will get one thing like management endpoint web dot exposure include. So here they have mentioned like health. So what we are going to do is, in our pom.xml file, if you are facing the same issue, then you have to copy and you have to paste that into your properties file, and here you have to mention the star, so that whatever the endpoints are there, it will include all those endpoints and you will be able to access those endpoints into the postman. So now I'm going to save this again, and due to using the dev tools, it will going to restart our application automatically, as you can see here. So it is running successfully, and here you can see something it is added like beans, caches. So these are the endpoints it is added due to the actuator. Now let's come to the postman and let's try this same API again, and now it is giving us the empty response. It means our info is working right now. And so if you notice here, there is nothing, because we can overwrite something into the information. So in such case, like if you want to provide non-sensitive information, so you can write that here. Right now I don't have here anything written, that's why info is returning empty response. So if I say in environment, then it will going to return all the sensitive information which we have configured into the Spring Boot application. If you see here, it is showing this port number like 9090, which we have on which it is working currently. And suppose if I added one more port like management dot security dot port, suppose the port will be 9091, and again if I save this application, it is started running on 9090. Now here it is showing only one port into the properties file, that is local server port. And if I again hit the same API, then let's see what happens. Okay, it is not added. Okay, here we have to mention the server port. Let's save it once again, and it's working now. Let's hit this endpoint once again. Here you can see only the local server port is 9090, and if I click on send, it is now giving you 404, because we are running the this actuator on the port of 9091. So let's change that port and let's call this API once again. Here you are getting this 401, because we have to authorize this application, because in the last video we have added the Spring security. In that we have mentioned this password like a username like a product and password like product123. So we have to mention that using the basic auth, and when we click on this send, at that time you are going to get the response. And if you see here, before we have only this 9090 port, and now here one more port is added, that is local management dot port, and the value is 9091. And if you scroll down this, so it will give you more information like about your JVM, where it is located, and the country value it will show you, then in which directory your project is located, that it will going to show you, like which OS it is you are using, that it will show you, where your JVM is located, that it will going to show you. And if you scroll down, then you will see your PC name, what is your PC name. Then again if you scroll down, it will show you the language by default. And the most important things is, like in the properties file, we have mentioned like server port 9090, we have mentioned our username as product and the password. Then we have mentioned this management security enabled as false. Then we have written this one more thing like management endpoint web dot exposure include star, which is going to expose all the endpoints. And then we have added this management server port, that is 909091. so this all the information which is secure, it is going to show you using this environment REST endpoint. So I hope you are getting, and if you have any doubt in any of these endpoints, so feel free to comment me. I will try to reach out to you as early as possible. There is something called as health as well, and if you hit that, you are going to get the information whether your server is up or not. So if I want the detailed information about my application, then what I have to do is I have to mention like management dot endpoint dot health dot show detail. So it will going to show me the details about this health. So I'm going to save this, and it is running successfully. Now let's see it is working or not. So here you can see it is showing me the detailed information like my status of this application is up, as well as it is showing which database I'm using in this application. And with that, if you see, it is showing me the disk space as well, like how much the total space is, how much the free space is, and what is this threshold and this exists. So it is going to show me like this detailed information about the health. If I mention like this management dot endpoint dot health dot show details, if there is database connectivity, so it shows the database name by default. I have the Apache Derby, that's why it is showing this. So let's see some more endpoints, like here you can see the beans is there, so let's use that. So if I use this beans, then it will going to show me all the beans name, means whenever we run our application at that time, whatever the annotation we have mentioned about the class, it will going to generate the beans for that, and it will make ready into the IOC container for us, so that we don't have to create each time the object of that. We have to just use auto void annotation, and we will able to access that object of that class. So in this I have used the product. So let's see, it is created the, so here you can see it is created the service implementation object. Then if I again search for the product, then it will show the product repository, bean is there, then product application, that is our main application, then product controller is there, the service implementation is there. Into the Spring Boot application you can see here product controller, service implementation, product repository. So these beans it makes ready into the IOC container that we are able to see using this beans endpoint. There are lot of endpoints you can read here, like the cache exposes the available caches, the condition. You can read this document here, which is provided by the official Spring Boot developers. Now we will see like how we can create our own custom endpoint which users can hit and then they will see what is the information basically inside that endpoint. So let's try to create the custom endpoint. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one class like custom endpoint, and the package will be com.product.actuator. In that actuator package, it will going to create this custom endpoint as class, and it is created into the actuator, this class. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the endpoint into this class, like with the annotation endpoint, and it is available into the actuator, and it takes one parameter basically, that is id, and we have to provide here our endpoint name. Suppose I provide here product, right, products, and I'm going to create one method which will going to return one string, and name of this method will be suppose product. So it is going to return the string. So this is custom endpoint for product, and I'm going to we are going to return this string. So for that also actuator provides one annotation, that is read operation. I'm going to save this and let's see it's work or not. We have to annotate this using the component also, because we want it to Spring and that it should create the bin for us automatically. So we are going to write the component annotation, and if you don't know these annotations, then I will try to put the link of my second video where I explain all this annotation with practical properly. So here let's see it's running or not. So it is running on the 9090. Okay, let's see into the postman it's working or not. So what we have to do here, localhost, our port number is 9091. In actuator it will going to return this endpoint, so actuator, and the name of this endpoint is products. So I'm going to call this API and let's see it's work or not. So here we are returning the text, so convert into text. So here you get the response like this is custom endpoint for product, and if I use this same endpoint to the browser, then first I have to sign in, as in the previous video I added this Spring security, and here you can see it is showing me the response like this is custom endpoint for product. Avoid this spelling mistake. So this is the way like how we can create our own custom endpoints using this actuator. This is the way you can create your custom endpoints. So if you want to expose your any sensitive information, if you don't want to expose your sensitive information, you just want to expose your basic information, you can do that using the custom endpoint. We already used our existing endpoint as well. I hope you understood what is the actuator and how we can use them. So far what we have seen, what is actuator, it is nothing but it is a tool which help you to keep an eye on your application. So what is happening internally, that actuator can give the information of application, and what we have to do, what steps we have to follow, like we have to first add the dependency, then we have to it will provide some basic endpoints to us that we have used already, like pins, then we have used environment, then we have used health, trace. This all the endpoints you can use by yourself, and you can see a description as well. So in the interview, if someone asks you what is actuator, in simple way you can say like it is a tool which will help to keep an eye on your application. So what is happening internally, that actuator can give the information of that. Even here you can read this basic definition, and in the next video we are going to see like how we can host the Spring Boot application onto the server. We are going to use the Heroku, which provide the free facility for us for some up to some limit. I will tell you that into the next video. For that I will put the link into the description. You have to watch my GitHub video for that, because we are going to use this GitHub. Using GitHub we are going to pull that project into the Heroku. So if you watch that GitHub video, it is just of 20-minute video. Even if you don't do the practical, it's fine, just watch that video and then watch my that Heroku video, so you will feel it very easy. So if you like the video, then click on the like button. If you dislike, then comment me so that I will improve my content. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe so that you will not going to miss my upcoming videos. I will try to bring this kind of interesting and helpful videos for you. Thank you. Jai Hind.